Hello, it's Paul Cox here, and today I want to talk to you about what's going on in Epsom. Today is the 16th of April 2026, and on the 15th of April, i.e. yesterday, there was a large protest in Epsom town centre after a young woman was raped in a churchyard by several men. Now, the reason the protest is underway is because the police are refusing to say who committed the crime. And something you need to know about Epsom. Epsom is in Surrey. Surrey is one of the least crime hit counties in the UK. It's just southwest of London. It's commutabout. It's where some of the wealthiest people in the country live. Epsom is essentially a nice town. It might not be the best, it might not be the worst, but it's a nice town in Surrey. The thing that's changed in Epsom over the last couple of years is there have been a number of illegal immigrant hotels occupied by illegal immigrants waiting for their asylum claims to be undertaken. Obviously, my opinion is they're very unlikely to be seeking asylum from France, which is exactly where they came from and exactly where we should stop them coming from. And we don't need to say alleged, but I'm going to have to say alleged on the basis that I don't want to damage any possible future criminal proceedings, because this is something that is happening on a far too regular basis. So a little bit of background on this. Protests have demanded police release descriptions and CCTV footage of the men suspected of gang raping a woman outside a church in Surrey. Police are investigating after several men attacked the woman in Epsom in the early hours of Saturday morning. The woman, in her 20s, had been followed after leaving the town's Labyrinth nightclub before the attack by a group of men. On Wednesday night, dozens, well, I think it was more than dozens, but let's do what the story says, dozens of protesters demanded that police release description of the men. Surrey Police have said it's still working to identify the identities of those suspected of having carried out the attack. A spokesman said, "At this early stage, we do not have full descriptions of any potential suspects." Well, fuck off. Let me tell you something. And I'm pretty wound up about this, as you can imagine, and I'm sure you are too. That woman has been through the most harrowing experience of her life. There were many men. She will be able to tell the police a good enough description of the men for the police to tell us who they're looking for. And by the way, these men are still at large. So they're still out there, free to do exactly what they did to this young woman again. Now, there is only one reason, in my opinion, that the police would hold back any details, and that's that they are likely to be of foreign descent, foreign nationals. Highly likely, although I cannot prove it obviously, to be immigrants. This behaviour is the type of behaviour we have seen time and time again across the country. And let's face it, if it had been a group of men who looked like me, we'd know by now. This took place on Saturday. This woman would have had many opportunities to speak to the police. I hope she's okay, by the way. I mean, physically okay. Mentally okay is almost impossible at this stage, I guess. And it will take some considerable time before she's feeling okay again, but best wishes to her and those looking after her. Harrowing stuff. And the reason I'm so angry, the reason you're so angry, is because this is ever so avoidable. There's no need for this to happen. The crime rates in Epsom are average or below average from across the country. Shoplifting, antisocial behaviour, violent crimes and rapes, low, very low. All of a sudden, there is a mass gang rape outside a church on a Saturday night. The modus operandi is almost the same every single time. They go to the place where they will find the young women, the nightclub, the pub, the school, and they follow them. And they undertake the most evil of acts upon these women, and as a country we're supposed to stand back and go, "Ah, it's okay. It's only a minority of men doing this." I could not give two fucks anymore. The police, the government, the local authorities, they are all protecting these men and the wider community cohesion against the victim. Against the victim. She is being raped twice. Once by these men and then again by the police and authorities. And if there is to be another one this weekend or tonight, God forbid, these police could have prevented it. They could have prevented it just by telling people what's going on. And of course people know. Of course we know. Look, I will take this video down and issue a formal apology if this turns out to be a group of young white men after a load of drink, which would not justify anything, by the way. And if it is a group like that, then they should see the full force of the law, as Sir Keir Starmer, our head wankstain, would say. But the chances are it's very unlikely to be anything other than what I'm alleging. You know it and I know it. Community cohesion more important than young women's safety? I don't think so. In what country is this a thing? It seems absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Disgusting, in fact, that we would protect these men and their identities over the wider public safety, particularly of young women and girls. This wasn't happening in 2010, in 1999, in 1985. Of course it was not happening. We know exactly why. And I hate to crowbar in my politics at this point, but can you imagine if we continue with a Labour government and then get a Green government or a Green Labour, Green Lib Dem coalition? They want to open the borders, ask no questions, give them all benefits, give them all homes. What, you think this is going to go down? This is going to skyrocket. We are going to become the world's bin fire of rape. I'm absolutely fuming this morning. Genuinely, really, really angry. Every single week, sometimes every single day, we see this happen. And the people we rely on to stop it are too busy protecting the criminals. This is what happened with Axel Ruda Cabana. This is what happened with absolutely every Islamist terrorist attack. People are scared of being called racist. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's just a word. You could be called racist now for looking the wrong way as somebody of colour. And who would blame you? When the police are protecting these people, suspicion goes through the roof. They are creating an environment in which most people who would never have looked twice at a person of colour coming out of a hotel are now looking at them, suspecting them of crimes. That's not because they're racist. That's because they've been gaslit into thinking it's not those people, or the police will hide the information from us to protect those people. At this point, I don't know what to do. I said on a recent video that we have to keep calm. We must never get violent. The Epsom protest did not get violent. Things were said, yes. Nothing was thrown. There was no violence. Good. We can't. It's what they want. The minute you get violent, the minute you get aggressive, they can just use it against you, and these women will keep getting attacked. The only thing we can do, we've got the May local elections coming up. Vote for someone in your constituency who is not afraid to call this out for what it is. We can't carry on like this. We simply cannot carry on like this. What happened in Epsom last weekend has happened all over the country, in leafy towns, in Essex, now in Surrey. And we're all supposed to just sit back and go, it's okay, don't worry about it, it's just a few. Be kind. Who are we supposed to be kind to? These men are of a vastly different culture. Multiculturalism is not our strength. Of course it's not our strength. We have to have a monoculture. We have to have a situation where we all understand the principles by which we live. What's good, bad, indifferent, and evil. And this is evil. No wonder these people are protesting on the street. And look at the people protesting. Middle-aged men and women, largely white. So the first thing the left-wing press has pointed out is this is again racist. Fuck you and fuck off. Look, I wish this young girl well. Of course, you know, I simply cannot imagine what she went through. But what I can imagine is a world in which this is prevented. And it's only prevented by honesty, openness, transparency. If this is the voice of someone who's now become far right, i.e. me, and by the way, I do not consider myself far right. I barely consider myself right. But everything's been framed so that somebody like me, if they say something like this, is considered the worst type of human. But if you're watching this, or you know people out there that would say that about me, if this happened to your daughter, your niece, your mum, whose side are you on? Well, you're going to go and thank the asylum seekers. Oh, thank you. Thank you for doing it to my daughter. When are you going to wake up? This is going to happen time and time again. It's only going to get worse. We don't have a government that wishes to stop it. We have plenty of people that wish to open the borders even further. And anybody who has the politics that I share and a lot of you share is demonised to the point that we have a whole media structure to criticise us to a point that we become, or they wish us to become, invalid. I don't know what to do anymore. I really don't know what to do anymore. But I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop making videos. I'm not going to stop talking about it on telly. I'm not going to stop writing about it. I'm not going to stop posting about it. And if you are someone who is protecting these people because you have some utterly repellent ideology, philosophy that means that you can't allow yourself to point this out for what it is, then I'm afraid you don't deserve a seat at the table. You just don't deserve a seat at the table. Every single government and every single constituency and every single constituent has a responsibility to protect the most vulnerable people in society. And women and girls are very close to the top of that list. And if it's uncomfortable that they look a certain way, they come from a certain culture, then it's tough tits. Tough shit. Grow up. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, follow me at Paul Cox Comedy on all social media. And until next time, keep it real.